Hi, my name is Tracy Pepper,
My name is Ana Mendez.
And I'm Daniela Fernandez.
and together we are Color Me Human, a new nonprofit established in Nevada County, California, on Nisenan land.
We are living in wild and uncertain times. 2020 found us navigating a pandemic that has brought our small businesses and frontline workers to their knees. Wildfires are a constant threat of total devastation here in the Sierra Nevada foothills. The continued murders of unarmed Black people at the hands of law enforcement, children separated from their families and put in cages, and an America so politically divided that it often feels impossible to bridge that divide.
Here in Nevada County, the pandemic slowed us down in some ways and shot us into action in other ways. Like many places across the country, we spent the summer months protesting in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. We were met with violent white supremacists who beat us down, and we got right back up to march for justice again and again.
As a Black woman, I don't have a choice. I have to get back up and keep moving forward in the name of justice and equity for all. I am not willing to let the status quo keep their knee on my neck and the necks of my children and grandchildren.
To our white allies and neighbors, we have to do better, and we must demand that our community and our country do better to right the inequities of the past that still have lingering effects today.
Because no matter who our president is, we have lots of work to do. And at Color Me Human, we are doing this work. We're dismantling systems of oppression within ourselves and our local institutions, such as our government, education, law enforcement, healthcare, and arts and culture, here in rural Northern California.
We are a majority white community. In fact, we are the second whitest county in the state. Yet thousands of Black, brown, and indigenous folks here in Nevada County suffer from a lack of visibility, lack of representation, and a lack of services. At Color Me Human, we are passionate about remedying this. And with your help, we can make this happen.
We support and elevate the voices, talents, and experiences of Black, Indigenous, and people of color here in Nevada County. As people of color in a rural community, we face distinct and devastating challenges, such as invisibility, erasure, isolation, along with the subtle and not so subtle reminder that we don't belong here.
On one specific summer day, August 9th, peaceful protesters here in Nevada City, mostly young people and elders standing in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, were attacked by violent white supremacists. Protesters were shoved, punched, attacked with flagpoles, and called racist and homophobic slurs, and spat on by our very own neighbors. As someone who was born and raised here in Nevada County, I knew this kind of hatred existed, but I never thought I would see it to play out as a literal nightmare on Broad Street in downtown Nevada City. As a community, we are still grieving and healing from this tremendous act of violence.
So where do you come in? We need your help more now than ever. What's the impact of this violence for Black, Indigenous, and people of color in our community? First and foremost, safety, and the hypervigilance and fear associated with being unsafe in the place we call home. Add to that further isolation, increased stress and emotional labor, great rates of depression, and overall poor health, particularly in the time of COVID. It's necessary, now more than ever, to invest in the safety and health of rural communities of color so that we can build solidarity with one another, grow leadership capacity at every level, and educate our neighbors. Because although we are fewer in numbers, we are here, and we deserve safety, representation, health, and real belonging.
So we're asking you to step in right now, in the beginning, when we need you the most to raise seed funding for this organization. Between the three of us, we have decades experience working in racial justice. And we are often sitting at big, long tables with county administrators, CEOs, city officials, and nonprofit leaders offering our knowledge, experiences, and counsel. We are exhausted at being the only ones at the table not getting paid.
It's past time that people of color, women of color, get paid for the tireless work that we do. We're asking that you invest in our vision, in our community, and in us. Your support will help us build a multiracial, multicultural governing board and team, secure grants for full-time salaries, and build the necessary community relationships to establish our work in the county.
It will also help us develop community-based Black, Indigenous, and people of color focused programming, like our Youth Leadership Program for Youth of Color, a community relief fund inspired by Indigenous models of community care, curricula building to aid our friends and neighbors in building racial literacy, and grassroots efforts to work with county departments to build racial equity at a systemic level here in Nevada County.
Phase 2 will expand our programming to other underrepresented people, especially the LGBTQ plus community. We really need your help today. We invite you to join us on the journey of bringing racial and social equity to rural Nevada County, California.
We see the desire and room for growth and change here. Together, we can create a model for rural communities that can be rolled out across the nation. Please contribute today and invite all of your friends to do the same. We cannot do this without you. We are Color Me Human. Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias.
That felt good.
Cute.
That felt good,
Yeah.
didn't it? Okay.